Hey players, I want to talk to you today about whether nonprofits need entrepreneur skills. I've been having a debate. No, I'm just kidding. I have not been having a debate because every executive director worth their mettle knows that they need entrepreneurial and business skills to be successful. I did have one conversation that sort of set all of this off. I was working on a partnership with a nonprofit association that is an umbrella organization to help executive directors and nonprofits get the skills they need to be successful. And I was suggesting some of our online courses that we have at Pregame on Demand. And the person told me, unless they're made specifically for nonprofits, so they're not really useful to nonprofits. And I was very polite, but my head was like starting to explode. And I went over on LinkedIn and I asked, hey, executive directors, people on boards, what do you think? Do nonprofits need entrepreneurship skills and business skills, or do they not? Do they need, content that's made especially for them? And unanimously, everybody who commented, which of course was a totally scientific study, everyone who commented was like, yeah, we need business skills. It's really hard to find even where to get those. Like, what do we even do? So I want to tell you specifically about a few different things that we've created to help. So it's sort of a ad, but it's more of a conversation, because let's talk about which skills you have and which skills that you still need and how you're going to create time to even get them, because you are busy, because you're trying to raise money and you're trying to run a team and you're trying to save the world. So like, how do you even do this? Okay, so we have worked at Pregame with a lot of nonprofits in lots of different sectors. So environment, housing, social services, transportation. And at Pregame, we're not sector specific, we're process specific. Our process works across all different sectors for creating a game plan and for leveling up your team. So there's a few different things in Pregame on Demand, which is like a ridiculously affordable way to get coaching, because it's online courses and modules and videos that are shorter than this sometimes. And then also there's group coaching that you can come to any time of the week, whenever you're available. So there you go. Flexible for your schedule. We created it for entrepreneurs, but guess who else is busy and whose schedule changes every week? That's right, executive directors and leaders at nonprofits, and managers too, right? Anybody running stuff, running a team, running a project, who needs to do it better, more efficiently. So let's talk about the now more than ever. It is no secret that right now, I am filming this on May 1st of 2025, nonprofits are in trouble. Your funding is getting cut. There's going to be a ripple effect from the rest of the economy to your organization. I know some of you are totally freaking out, and some of you are somewhat freaking out. I don't think that anyone who's smart in leadership is not a little bit hesitant, a little bit anxious about what's going on, at least not in my largely left-leaning area. So let's talk about the money, right? We don't have frank discussions about money enough. I think in nonprofits, sometimes you all are a little bit better about it, but you have several sources of revenue, right? You've got grants, you've got donations, you've got sponsors, right? Those are kind of maybe the three major ones. First of all, grants. A lot is getting cut, even, especially if you have federal funding. And then let's look at local government grants. Well, where I live in Portland, Oregon, we're way under budget. There's a budget crisis at the city level. And of course, there's a budget crunch kind of everywhere. And it's going to get worse if everyone's being laid off and people aren't paying taxes, because the money for the grants comes from taxes, as you know. So it's all a circle of life, or circle of money, right? There's a lot of hesitance in nonprofits sometimes to admit that business is important or business isn't evil. Yeah, some businesses are evil and some businesses aren't, just like people. I mean, businesses aren't people. We all agree on this right now. But some people are evil and some people are not. So it's totally fine to organize your social good organization as an LLC, or as an S Corp, or as a 501c3 nonprofit, or 501c6 or 501c4. Okay, so we have established all of this. Grants, going down. Foundations have been granting more slowly. And also, a lot of times grant funding is for a specific program. You can't necessarily apply it to your operational budget, which is where your ongoing, really crucial costs lie. Okay, so let's talk about sponsorships and partnerships. If the businesses are not making enough money or as much money or need to prevent layoffs, what do you think might get cut first? Right? Philanthropic giving. All right. Same thing for individuals. If people are being more tight with their money, a little worried about their finances, what do you think they're going to cut? All right. I'm not saying all of this to freak you out. And I think it's really important that we don't freak out right now, but we need to accept what's really happening, not just be like, everything's going to be okay, because then you don't prepare soon enough to mitigate those risks. So let me offer you another source of income, which is revenue, right? And I've been hearing a lot of my clients talking about this since like a year ago. And so this is not like a new idea. And I know a lot of you are already thinking about it, especially if you're smart. So they're like, how can we sell something and bring in some money in a different way that's unrestricted, right? So in that way, you might need to get some products or services that you sell. It could be anything from workforce development, where you are indeed training apprentices to go out in the field and you're supplying services. It could be events, ticket sales. It could be, maybe you've been able to productize something. One of our nonprofit clients has built an app. It's not that hard to organize as a nonprofit in the United States. I mean, IKEA is a nonprofit. The NFL was a nonprofit. I don't think it is anymore, but are you kidding me right now? The NFL. Okay. So let's just talk about when it comes to fundraising still, that's sales. Just because you are not saying buy this thing, you're saying buy this idea. And you still need skills of how to effectively persuade people. And I'm not talking about in a gross way, because who wants to be that kind of salesperson? We're not, we don't consider ourselves salespeople. I don't either. But we need to have like persuasive conversations, or just help people understand what it is we do in a way they can understand. And sales training is honestly the best way to do that. Marketing as well. So you can talk about brand and build content that's externally facing. The other thing is tracking. A lot of people who are out there and doing the work, they don't necessarily have a great process. I know a lot of you do have donation software and customer, client donor relationship software. Are you using it in the right way? Are you either maximizing the way you use it to track activity and like whether it's indeed down or up? Or are you overusing it? Because I've seen people creatively procrastinate by over programming their software and making it too heavy for daily efficient use as a way to procrastinate actually picking up the phone and calling people. You can tell I'm old because I do the phone like this instead of like this, but I promise you I have a smartphone. Okay, so we've established now that you need non-gross sales skills. So Pregame just dropped a new boot camp. It's called The Score. It's included in every membership on Pregame on Demand, and it's I think 12, maybe more modules on each step of the sales process, from how to price things to how to build, your habit process, to how to have convincing conversations. You even get to hear me have an actual sales conversation with somebody and build rapport with somebody in there. So I think that's highly, highly valuable. The other boot camp that is our OG boot camp is the Full Press. It's our marketing boot camp. And there you'll learn how to build compelling content and how to build a brand that really stands out from your competitors. Because let's be honest, you're not the only nonprofit doing what you do. It's like 0.1% of you maybe have a totally unique thing you're offering. But at least where I live, there's a bunch of transportation nonprofits. There's a bunch of housing nonprofits. And how do you really make yourself stand out from those other ones with a brand promise and a mission statement that is really going to grab attention for funders and donors and partners? The other thing with that is being in regular contact with your audience so that they feel really tied to you. Maybe you do a really cool event or initiative or fundraiser and you get a wave of new people on your mailing list. How do you turn them into donors? How do you keep them giving over time? How do you build value? If you're a membership organization, this is super vital, right? Because a lot of times your members are people from maybe the private sector. They're getting bombarded with just as many emails as you are. How do you stand out and build value when people aren't spending $20 and getting a thing, but spending $20 and contributing to an idea? But I do think it's a great time for fundraising and persuading people, because we all feel a little helpless right now to affect the big things happening in the world. And I'm a huge champion of voting, especially voting in your primaries. Call your elected officials. It is their job to listen to you, and all the ones that I know really do listen. But I live in an area where I really like my elected officials, and they're already doing the right thing, and I'm not sure that my phone call or letter is that needed, other than to say, don't forget about this issue, that I really care about, or this issue is starting to come up. So what can we tangibly do? Posting on social media is not a do thing to affect legal decisions and what's going on in politics. It's good to put some peer pressure on your social circle, for sure, and say, like, this is what I believe and this is why. But to do something really tangible, I want to know, like, what organization could I actually give to where it makes a difference? Even if I can only afford to give like 10, 20 bucks a month, like, who's actually moving the needle? Like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to go sue somebody, in an activist way, but there's an organization of lawyers that's going to do that, and they actually know what they're doing, or, any cause that matters to you. So I think it is a really good time to persuade people that they should give, and that they should become part of your community and part of something bigger than themselves, because it can be really lonely to be anxious. And so that means that your community needs to be part of your community. And that also means that you need to have a supportive community around too. And if you're in leadership, it often can be very lonely, because maybe you don't have a peer, maybe you're the executive director and you're running everything, or even if you're a director, maybe you're the only leader in your area in a smaller nonprofit. And so you deserve to have support too. So please come join us at Pregame On Demand. Just try it out. Come into one of our small group sessions each week, which is sort of part goal setting and accountability, and a lot of personal support with people who think like us, people who want to keep growing and want to keep getting better, but want to really hold on to the impact they want to have in the world and their mission. So I hope that this has given you some clarity and some encouragement. And please let us know, email Pregame, drop a comment, and let us know if we can answer any other questions for you during this time, so that you can continue to grow and thrive and have an impact. Lyrically, I'm a problem. That's when the show starts.